If you're thinking about starting your own press-on-nail business from home and you are confused about all the things you need to do, where to even start, what to buy, what actually matters, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Tenny and welcome to That Pretty Nail. I built a home-based nail studio before and then I closed it, and now I'm transitioning my business into press-ons. So in today's video, I want to share with you this journey, my experience of how to open a press-on nail business and what I would do if I start over today. And I also want to be clear from the beginning that you don't need a full nail studio or thousands of dollars to start this business. All you need is a clear plan. So let's start from the beginning, before you even buy anything. I also leave the timestamp below, so if you want to skip ahead, go ahead and do that. Let's go. So before you go on Amazon, Shein, AliExpress, and adding everything into your cart, just take a step back and think about what kind of press-on business model you want to do, because it determines what you need to buy, how much money you need to spend, how you make your products, and how are you actually market your product. And as far as I know, there are three main press-on business models, so let's go through them all. The first one is custom press-on sets, and this is probably the most beginner-friendly option. You offer a few nail shape options, maybe a few links, and customers choose from your design collection by sizing themselves. This is actually the easiest and cheapest way to start because you're not buying a bunch of inventory in advance. The nice thing about custom sets is that there's basically no inventory to waste. Your upfront cost is lower, it's easier to start right away, and it feels more personal, which a lot of customers like. But the downside is that it can be time consuming. It's harder to scale because you're getting paid per order, so more time really does equal more money. There's also usually more customer communication, and sometimes customer want design adjustment, which can slow you down pretty quickly. So yes, custom is probably the easiest way to start if you don't want to invest a lot of money upfront, and you also want to make sure your designs are clear and approved from the beginning, so you don't have to keep going back and fixing things. The second model is ready to ship or RTS set. This is where you create press-on set in advance and sell them as is. This model is great because the fulfillment is faster, there's less back and forth with the customer, it's easier to batch your work, and it has more scaling potential. But there's a trade-off. There's always a risk that you won't sell, and you have to do very good research and make your best guess of what design customer will actually buy. This is what a lot of sellers actually want to go to because it is more streamlined and scalable, but it's not always the best way to start as a beginner, especially if you don't really have an audience or a demand yet. The third model is the hybrid model, and this is the one I see the most in real life, and it's also what I'm doing myself. You offer a few ready-to-ship designs and also a few make-to-order options. I like this model because it gives you the flexibilities, reduce inventory risk, lets you test demand, and create more balanced workload. The downside is that it can get messy if you're not organized, and it does require clearer systems since you're managing both inventory and custom work. But for beginners who want flexibilities or transitioning from a hobby to a business, I think this is a really solid option. Now let's talk about the legal part of the business, because I feel like this is the part that a lot get intimidating about. I do want to put a disclaimer here. I am not a lawyer, nor an accountant. So what I'm sharing today is based on my own experience in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Every state, province, and cities have its own set of laws and regulations. So please do your own research. What I'm about to share is just like a structure, guidance, so that you know where to go to. The first thing is business registration. Ask yourself whether or not you need to register for your business. In Ontario, if you're not using only your legal name, then generally you do need to register a sole proprietorship, and that's usually the beginner route. Once you go bigger, you can always incorporate your business, but I'm not there yet either, so I'll keep you posted on that. Finger crossed. Also, a quick note on your business name. I think this is a very important call out. Make sure that the name that you want to use or choose to use is not being used before. It's much easier to build a brand where all of your name is consistent across all the platforms. I ran into this issue myself where I wanted to choose another name for my business, but I couldn't create an Instagram account under that handle. So at the end, I ended up choosing that pretty nail, and that's what I registered my business under, and also using that pretty nail as a handle for all across the social media platforms. The second thing is to check if you are legally allowed to open this type of business at home. Look into your city zonings or bylaws. Depending on where you live, there might be rules around noises, storage, customer pickups, or how much traffic you're bringing into your neighborhood. For press-on nails, most of us are shipping orders, so some of these rules might not fully apply, but still, doing a quick check beforehand can save you a lot of headache later. Third is taxes. Not always the fun part, but very important. Even if you're just starting, tracking your income and expenses from day one. In Canada, once you hit a certain amount, around $30,000, you will need to register for GST, HST. And also, please don't throw away your receipts. Create a simple system, even if it's just a folder or a spreadsheet, so tax season is easier. Save receipts for supplies, equipment, packaging, everything. And then there's insurance. This one is really optional, but if you are serious about it, I would look into some small business insurance or product liabilities insurance in your area. If you plan to sell at local market, some of them require you to have insurance. Again, every market is different, so please do your own research. But at the end of the day, it's about protecting yourself, especially when you start selling more consistently. All the not so fun but important stuff out of the way, let's talk about what you actually need to start a press-on-nail business at home. You definitely do not need a giant nail room or every nail color to start. Depending on your budget, yes, you can invest more later, but if you already know your style, you can absolutely begin with the basics. When I started, I was on a lower budget, so I wanted to share what I actually use and still using today. For your setup, you just need a simple workspace. I use an IKEA desk with extra drawers that I also purchased from IKEA. From my salon experience, I prefer a glass top because it's easier to clean and I don't have to worry about acetone or alcohol damaging it. The drawer fits perfectly and it's budget friendly too. If you want something sturdier, I'll recommend another option on the screen. Now for the actual must-have supplies, you need nail tips depending on what size and shape you want to offer. There are a lot of brands out there. I personally choose A-Press because I think they are durable and I am already familiar with the system. Once you pick a brand, sometimes it's easier to just keep going with that one. And if you're just starting out, feel free to explore and try different brands. Just make sure you understand the nail dimension you're offering. And then you would need your gel products or polish system, you can definitely start with a more affordable bundle. I see brands like Beatles and Model Ones offer a lot of beginner-friendly kits, and they seem pretty accessible price-wise. You also need a base coat and top coat set, and if you want to do chrome or encapsulated designs, I highly recommend getting a matte top coat too. Then the rest of your basics, files, buffers, a dust brush, a stain or holder for nail painting, a curing lamp, detail brushes or designing tools, alcohol or acetones. It's really depend on what you prefer. I have both, but I know some people only use alcohol. For me, acetones help with some specific polish, but it's again just up to you. For packaging and customer order supplies, you want cuticle stick, nail file, buffer, nail glue, and adhesive tabs, alcohol wipes, order cards, thank you cards, packaging bags or boxes, and labels. If you're not sure on how to create your own nail display card, I make a sample for you to download and edit on Canva. It's free, I'll link it down below for you. And don't forget your content creation setup too. A simple lighting, a tripod works. You don't need anything really fancy. If you just use your phone, that also works. If you're not sure what to buy, I'll link what products I use in the description below. I just bought very simple phone tripod clipping so I can clip into my desk and then film when I create. Definitely not something fancy, but need to make sure that your pictures and your videos are all clear so that the customer can see your products and your process. What I would do differently if I would start today is I would just focus on what I need and spend less on buying a lot of jams, a lot of cute supplies, because when I closed down my nail studio, I realized I have a lot of products and a lot of things I never ever had the chance to use again. So yeah, if you take away one lesson from today, it's probably buy what you need. Don't spend too much, and then that will be thing that you never use. Now let's talk about setting up your shop. I know there's a lot of different platforms or ways that you can sell your press on. I'm currently using Etsy to sell my product and also Instagram DM if there's local customers. I know a lot of people also use Shopify to set up their shop, and I think that makes a lot of sense because Shopify have more functions. But for me personally, I cannot justify the price because I haven't sold a lot of products yet. So down the line, if my business grow bigger and I have more inventory, I probably will choose Shopify, but for now, Etsy will do. So at this stage, you want to set up your shop, whether it's on Etsy or Shopify or whatever platform you're starting with. You need to set up your shop, create your sizing system, write a clear processing times and care instructions, explain what the customer receives, and create your basic policies. Especially for custom set, make your policy very clear. Things like no return, processing times, shipping expectations, and sizing responsibility. You really want to protect yourself and be clear with the customer from the beginning. I've created a press-on startup checklist that you can print out or use digitally, and I'll link that below if you want something to help you stay organized. Now for pricing basics, I already go over this deeper in my video how I price my press on. So if you want to watch that, I'll link that in the description and check out that video after this, but I can just go over it very quickly here. At the minimum, your pricing need to include your material, packaging, your time, platform fee, different type of design, and your profit margin. If you want more pricing tips, check out the pricing video below. Okay, very exciting part coming up. Let's talk about create your first collection and launch it. If I would start from today, I probably would start with a collection of 3 to 5 different designs and then also keep posting online. The hardest part is to choose the style people actually wear or mix in something trendy and something that feels like you. And remember to start posting even before you launch. This is how people find you before you even have product ready. Show the process, show your sizing kit, show yourself packing, show your beginning journey, show what you've learned. Don't wait until everything is perfect to start posting. This is where content becomes really powerful, and honestly, this is something I understand a lot better now. You don't need a huge launch. Start small, a few design, a few listing, and focus on creating, posting, and find your first customer. So there you have it. This is how I will start my business if I do it again today. Starting your own press-on-nail business at home is absolutely possible. It becomes so much easier if you have a system in place or you actually know where to start. Start small and then upgrade and invest into the right things slowly. I'll be sharing more content like my designing process, where I get my supplies, Etsy setup, tools I use. So let me know in the comments what question you have or what video you want to see next. If you are starting out your press-on journey and you want to stay organized, check out my press-on startup bundle. I created it based on my own experience. It includes things like starter checklist, supply checklist, customer records to help you stay on track. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It's really helped me keep creating content like this, and good luck on your journey. Thank you for watching.